Today I was listening to the recent debate between Dan Barker and Douglas Wilson on the existence of God, and there was a point in the debate where the theist, Douglas Wilson, perfectly illustrated what really scares me about Christian morality. Dan Barker brought up the parts of the Bible where God commands the Israelites to slaughter all the innocent women and children in a neighboring tribe and rape their virgin women and smash their children on the rocks. And Dan Barker said, Douglas, obviously this is an incredibly immoral person. You've got to admit that raping the virgins of a neighboring tribe and smashing their infants on rocks to bust their heads open, you've got to admit that that's immoral, right? And, just listen to what Douglas Wilson had to say.
No, I don't grant that.
You think it was right? Well, you're supposed to answer.
Oh, no,
Go ahead.
Absolutely. I refer back. I think it's a legitimate question. God said in the Scripture that the people of God, when they were doing this, were blessed when they conquered the enemies of God, and the one who took the children of the enemies of God and dashed them on the rock was blessed by God. That's in the Bible, and I have no apologies for it.
And you think that's good morality? You think that's not a cruel thing to do? Do you think that's a good thing to do?
God is the definition of good. And because God, as the definition of God is, since we begin all our reasoning from this position, we reason from what God says to our morality.
Well, I have to at least applaud Douglas Wilson for being consistent in his defense of biblical Christianity and of the biblical God. A lot of Christians at this point would say, whoa, that's, terrible. Obviously, we can't have our good God, smashing infants' heads open and commanding rape. So let's just make the Bible say the opposite of what it says. When it says, blessed is he who breaks the heads of children open on rocks, what it really means is God grieves that he has to do this because of some other reason or something like that. That's the normal Christian response as I experience it, and it's obviously inconsistent. But here, Douglas Wilson is actually consistent. He actually says, well, yes, that is what God did, and I believe that God is all good, so that was good. It was good for God to command the rape of young virgin women and tell the Israelites that it was blessed for them to smash infants on the rocks. That was good. That was morally good. So Wilson is consistent. He's just terrifying. And here's why it's terrifying. And here's why any system like this is terrifying. If you make the ground of all moral values into the opinion of someone, whether it's God or Alexander the Great or Gandhi or whatever, then whatever that person decides to do or decides to command is by definition good. So when God commands people to love your neighbor, well, that worked out okay because that's kind of, that helps people get along. But then when God commands you to rape the virgins of a neighboring tribe, that's also good by definition because you're defining it in just whatever a person says, a particular person that you've chosen. And so this can be used to justify anything as morally good. The most horrendous acts of all, murder, rape, smashing children open on rocks, can be morally good if it so happens that a particular person says so. If that particular person is the ground of your moral values. Especially because people get very different impressions from God. Everybody hears a voice from God and it says something different. If you believe that God has told you that rape is right, and you think that moral values come not from some property of the action itself, but from whatever God says, then you're actually going to believe, as Wilson does, that in that case, rape is morally good. That you're not going to stop for a minute and think, whoa, wait a minute, is rape really morally good? Instead, your only answer is, well, God said it was good, so it's good. Or, I can go kill the Muslims over there because God said to kill them. Or I can go fly planes into buildings because God said so. That's just an absolutely terrifying moral system. And, I wouldn't want Douglas Wilson living in my neighborhood, if that's what he really believes. I wouldn't want somebody, I would want to know where they are on the map. I would want to know where these people live so that I can be wary of them. These people who believe that rape can be good, murder can be good, stealing can be good, if they hear a voice in their head that it was good. That's just a terrifying moral perspective to have, and that's why I'm really scared of Christian moral thinking. Now, of course, it's possible that even though this is a terrifying moral position, that it happens to be true about the universe. Luckily, there's no evidence for that, so that's a big relief. But there are millions of people who believe this is true about the universe and will act as if it is. If they believe that God has the opinion that such and such weird, terrifying thing is moral, they will actually believe that that is moral because that's their moral system. And I think that's a very frightening thing, and one reason that I think Christian morality can be very damaging if you take the orthodox Christian view of morality, that moral values are grounded in the opinion of God.